Hello. I'm going to give it a few minutes because I record these videos live for people to come in. I like to do a kind of a question and answer thing at the end of the videos so that if anyone has any questions about healing and self-love, then I can kind of answer it at that point. So I'm going to give it a few more seconds. Okay. Well, first, I want to begin, how I really like to begin is with your breath. And because your breath is an act of self-love. And I really didn't realize that. At some point, I was on anxiety medications and so many different medications. And I didn't realize I wasn't breathing. I was just trying to get by and not understanding what was wrong with me. So I'm going to start with the breath, 3 deep breaths, because it is an act of self-love, allowing your body to feel and release, right? So when I open my hand, you release. Okay. So when I say I was playing peekaboo with my trauma, I really was. And what really happens when you do that is you do your soul a great injustice. It manifests in different areas of your life. It manifests in your body. It manifests through through your actions with family members, and you begin to really act out about it. So I wanted to give you a bit of an example of what happened with me and what I learned from it once I faced it. I've talked about, my sexual abuse as a child, and that was really difficult for me to really honor and face, because we live in a society where we're told to push things aside, or get over it. Okay, it happened, or it happens to everyone. Whatever we're told. No one in all this education, we're being told that we need to have a job and to run our lives. No one's really telling us the importance of going within and honoring yourself, right? So I wanted to talk to you guys today about when I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I've had 3 neck surgeries, right? And I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is an autoimmune disease, and it attacks your body. The day that I got diagnosed, I felt terrible. I was afraid. I know that it was one of the highest rated suicide diseases there is. And I didn't really want to acknowledge it. I didn't know what to do with that, because I just felt like this is a death sentence. I felt physical pain all the time. I had to go through a mourning period of my body, right? My hands, I couldn't even use my hands the same anymore. My brain, my bodily functions, I was walking, my leg was giving out. It was super scary. So I was holding all of that in, right? I wasn't really dealing with any of it. And fibromyalgia is a very real disorder. My body's been through a lot of physical trauma and surgeries, so that pain is there. But I didn't realize what the emotional stress and what the emotional pain was doing to me, how I was hindering my growth, because I didn't want to deal with it. I knew I had to take care of my children. I knew that I had to keep going. I knew that I had to take care of, my husband when I was married and all of these things, but I wasn't really honoring myself. I wasn't dealing with the death of the old life, the death of the old body, the mourning period of the old body, right? So I'm going to different doctors and I'm getting on medications, and I was going to the doctor almost 7 times a month, 13 medications, constantly like, I don't know what's going on, I can't breathe, I can't this, like, I didn't know. And I do believe that these doctors are educated on what they're educated on, you know, like on what they can help you with, but they're really not educated on the fact that you have to heal that emotional trauma, because it will manifest in the body, right? I still have a lot of physical things going on. I still have pain because my body has had 3 neck surgeries and I have a lot of hardware in it. But I do not have the level of pain I once had because I stopped playing peekaboo with my trauma. I started facing everything. Another way it manifested in my life was with my children. And it's so difficult to admit that. It's, you know, for any parent to really take the time and look and say, wow, this is really affecting my children. It's really affecting my children in a different way, and start to see them crumbling, right? Start to see them falling apart because I was avoiding it. At some point, with everything that I had going on, you know, I felt so upset that my marriage had failed. I wasn't looking at things, although I had faith, I wasn't looking at things as, you know, as I speak of now that I realize things have to fall apart so they can come together. You know, sometimes you have to continuously die to the old ways of doing things, of moving my body, of using my hands, of standing up, of everything. Everything completely shifted and changed. And I had to go through I had to stop avoiding that, you know, facing that this happened, and start really listening to my body and start connecting to my spirit. When I was on, I'm going to tell you what my turning point was. I fell down the steps, and it was in the middle of the night. And I know, like, you know, I don't feel like any of you, it sounds crazy too, but I woke up out of nowhere. And I know that that fall was destiny. It had to happen. And my head was busted open, and I had to get my head stapled. And, you know, I was alone in the hospital where one of my friends came with my 2 children. And I'm like, you know, and people were trying to kind of say, oh, you know, well, what happened? Or, you know, was it your medication or whatever? No, I needed to get knocked on my ass to really see that I had to be there for me, to understand that if I didn't take my health and my life in control and my emotional trauma into my own hands, I was dying. And I was watching my children watch me die. My children started acting out in different ways, and it wasn't just taking a toll on me. We don't realize when we play peekaboo with our trauma, when we're kind of like, yeah, I see you, but I don't want to deal with you, we affect everyone in our life. We don't just do ourself and our soul injustice. We affect everyone in our life. Everyone that we claim to care about, we affect everyone, because you have to bring it back to you and honor you. So what I did was I started honoring me. I took my health into my hands. I started looking up into my medical records and not avoiding looking at them. Okay, what are all these medications I'm on? What is this supposed to be for? And reading what the doctors were writing. You know, she's going to need a wheelchair at some point. She probably won't be able to walk at some point. She probably won't be able to take care of her children at some point. My medical records are like this, okay? Like this. But in all those medical records, no one said, you know, you need to heal. You need to take things into your own hands and you need to heal. You need to begin to honor you. You need to deal with, you know, what are you feeling? Why is this coming up? Why is this physical trauma here? Yeah, you've had physical things done, you know, to your body, and you've had surgeries, but it was manifesting in so many other ways. I couldn't breathe. I got Bell's palsy where half my face wouldn't move, you know, at some point. And exactly, triggers. I couldn't move half my face at some point. And I tell you, like, I was fighting to get somebody to listen to me. I was fighting to get somebody to feel my pain. And I just kept saying, I'm in so much pain. Because I was. And I felt like I need the medication. You know, these doctors are prescribing it. And like I said, I don't blame any doctors. I feel like they do what they know they can. But I had to heal emotionally, and I had to start digging deep. I had to start seeing why all of this was manifesting, what was happening in my life, and what was I going through, and what I needed to face. So really looking through these medical records and starting to see my children acting out, because it didn't matter who was around. Yeah, the medication definitely can make things worse. And it didn't matter like who was around my children, who was there, who wasn't there. I had to take accountability and I had to get my shit together. So I had to, thank you so much. I had to start being real with myself, right? And let me explain something to you too. And this is not even something I even share, but I feel guided to share this with you guys. Because when you face your shadow, no one can hold it against you anymore. You reclaim your power. You reclaim who the fuck you are, and you remember who you are, right? Because people started using that I was on medication like I was some type of pill popper. They were, not everyone, but there was a lot of people. Or when someone was mad at me, oh, it's not your feelings, it's your medication kind of thing, right? And no one was listening to me, but I wasn't listening to me. And when I tell you, when you're not listening to you and the energy you put out, that's exactly what you're gonna get back. So one time, I was driving, right, with my children, and I didn't take the medication unless I felt like I needed it. Even if it said every 4 to 6 hours, I didn't take it unless I needed it. But I was driving with my children, and I got pulled over, right? He asked me to get out of the car when I got pulled over. I got out of the car. He's like, you're under arrest. And I'm like, I'm under arrest? He's like, yeah, your pupils are dilated. I feel like, you know, you're under the influence of something. That was one of the most fucked up times for me, because I'm like, what is going on? Oh my God. You know, my daughters were in my car and everything. What ended up happening was I got it thrown out. You know, I got a lawyer. They found out, like, you know, I asked, by the way, if you're ever pulled over or ever arrested and they claim that you're under the influence of something, asked to go to the hospital, which I did. My father taught me that, and I got blood and urine tested, and nothing was in my system. Sorry about that, guys. Nothing was in my system, right? But if I didn't do that, it would have came out like it was something else. But what I do realize and what I know now is that was a sign, like, things were really falling apart. And instead of when I went to people about it, like, I can't believe this happened, even when it got thrown out, do you know that people tried to use that against me? Like, oh, you this, you that. It didn't matter that I had a piece of paper that said something different. But even with that, Like, I know that it had to happen. I know that it had to happen because things had to change. Like, I felt that that was a sign to say, if you don't take your health under control, one day these medications are going to do something to you that's going to mess up your driving or mess up something within you. And that was a harsh reality for me, right? And people even tried to use that against me, even though they had to throw it out. They asked me to sign a paper saying I wouldn't sue the police department and everything. But it was facing that and going through those records and realizing that everything is divine intervention, and everything that was coming up and all the roadblocks and all the scary things that were happening that were meant to make me dwindle down and meant to make me feel bad or like I was less than something, less than a mother, or I couldn't take control of my life, they were all coming at me. People were deceiving me. People were abandoning me. And when I tell you what I learned from all this was, and going through all these files and going through all this paperwork, what I learned from this was that everything that I was searching for in everyone else, in these doctors with the white coat, in my relationship, in my marriage, with family, with friends, I had everything I needed within me, but I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know how to get there. And when you play peekaboo with your trauma, like, I see you, no, like, I don't want to deal with this right now. Oh my God, it's too deep. You want to avoid it, right? You're manifesting disease in your body, and you're manifesting and aligning with people who are going to continue to teach you the same lesson over and over until you take the stand, until you say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. You know, I want something different. I want change. I want to bring something different into my life. So avoiding my trauma, right? Avoiding my trauma made me angry, made my body worse, made me feel like I needed more medicine. Nobody said, hey, breathe, take some deep breaths. And I'm not blaming anyone. You know what I mean? I'm bringing it back to me. Like, because like I've said it in the beginning of each video, your breath is a form of self-love. And I had to breathe, and I had to take my power back, because my children were watching. My daughters were watching me. And no matter what anyone has to say about you or about your situation, or if they feel like you're lying about any sexual abuse, or they're dismissing your feelings, you have to know that you have to go within you, and you have to bring it back to you and start honoring you. And I know, guys, that it's so difficult. I know that dealing with the bad things that happen to us, it's difficult because you also have to take accountability. It's not just what someone else has done or what they haven't done. You have to go within and take accountability. Wow, I kept allowing this. And why was I manifesting and okay with somebody mistreating me or somebody deceiving me or lying to me? Because I was lying to me. Because I was deceiving me. Because I wasn't honoring me. You have to bring it back to you. What people have done to you is not, it's not for you to figure out why. And I know how difficult that can be, but it's for you to dig within and say, okay, this is not okay anymore. And I keep allowing this. And you know, you're not a tree. And I'm a fixed sign. I'm a Taurus, Sun and Venus. And I honestly, for my entire life until recently, did not like to move. I did not like to be shifted. I wanted stability, stability, stability. I used nonsense like people use with their signs before you begin to evolve. Oh, I'll cut my nose to spite my face. I literally used to say that like it was cute. And what was I doing? I was hindering me. And I was hurting me. And I, in turn, subconsciously, I was hurting people that I loved around me. when you honor you and you love you, nothing, you can't be shaped. I'm so solid at this point in my life and with who I am, and knowing that my good and my bad and my trauma and facing these demons, because people will use it against you, especially if they see your light. They will use anything they can against you, anything in your past, anything that makes you vulnerable. But when you face it and you deal with it, and you don't allow somebody else to tell you how you feel or what you should do and what you should feel, everything shifts. You take your power back. You align with your higher self. You align with the God in you. If you were made in His image, do you even understand how magical and special you are? But the pain makes us forget. The conditioning makes us forget. And I promise you, when you stop avoiding it and you say, no, this hurt me, this wasn't right, and you allow yourself to feel these things and then figure out, okay, so this happened, what can I do now to move forward? And what I've gained from all of this, I've gained joy. I've gained self-respect. I've gained dignity. I love myself. My daughters are so proud of me constantly, Mom, you're amazing, or, I don't know how you've done it. Or my daughter told me, my older daughter, right, said to me, at some point, I didn't know if God was real. And you helped me know that He was, because I didn't understand why we were going through all we were going through for the last 4 years, and someone who loved God so much was going through so much. But in the book of Job, I don't know if any of you are familiar with this. Thank you. In the book of Job, it was a man, right? He loved God so much, and he was tested. And he went through so many different trials and tribulations. I mean, he got sores all over his body. His kids got killed. He lost his money. He lost his house. He lost his farm. He lost everything. But you know what stood out in that book to me in the Bible? Was when he was at his worst and he was suffering, and his wife was like, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? Curse God and die already. And he was like, you're speaking like a foolish woman. Should we only accept the good? And the truth is, the pain is meant to teach us something. So when you stop playing peekaboo, and when you face it, and you face these demons, and you face this shadow work, you gain a liberating freedom, and you get you. You get the you that you didn't even know existed. You get the you that everybody was trying to keep you from, because you shine bright. And that's what you gain, and peace and clarity. So I'm going to pull some cards, and if anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask. Exactly. Our pain is meant to teach us something. Our pain has a purpose. I promise you, I've never been more grateful for my pain now. I didn't think I was going to survive. My body fell apart, my mind, I lost so much. And I'm here and I'm talking to you, and I take this time because you can completely transform your life with healing and self-love when you stop avoiding things. Okay, the first card we got is vacuum away fear. Call upon Archangel Michael and Raphael to lift fear-based energy from you, your surroundings, the situation, and everyone involved. So vacuum away fear. And this is like a perfect card. So before I came on here, I was praying, like, if there's something that I need to talk about or something that has to come out, speak on it. Because once again, when you're fear-based and you're holding something in that's part of your purpose and part of your story to elevate you to the next level, to help you evolve, you block yourself with that fear. You block yourself with that fear. So the card is asking you to ask Archangel Michael and Raphael to lift fear-based energy away from and anyone and everyone involved. The next card, Earth Angel. You are a light worker who has come to Earth to teach about love. I do believe that everyone has a gift and something to give and has light within. You don't have to be a medium. You don't have to be gifted in giving readings or anything like that. But everyone has a light within, and sometimes you have to go to the deep, dark shadows to get to that light. You know, you were made in His image. You're magic. You just forgot. And we all have something to teach and all have something to give. So does anyone have any questions? I hope this was helpful. No questions, guys? I'll pull one more card and I'll wrap it up. Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad. I love you guys. And thank you for watching and listening. And this is the final card. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for listening. Solar plexus chakra. It is safe for you to be powerful and take charge of your life in positive ways. Man, it is safe for you to be powerful. It is safe for you to be great. Oh, thank you. You guys are so awesome. You know, I know. That card was for me. That card is for all of us. Don't dim your light. Stop running away from your shadow. Stop playing peekaboo. Like, I avoided so much. You know, I couldn't look at my medical records. But I now look at them, I'm like, that was a lie. That's a lie. Boom. Beat that out. Look at you now. You know, like, I used to fall apart. I promise you, you'll get there. If you joined today and you listened, or if you're watching this video, I promise you, you can get there. It's time to stop allowing anyone to hinder you from your evolution. I love you guys so much, and thank you so much for joining me. And I'm gonna post something on my story today about how to get in the drawing for and what the rules are for a 40-minute healing session with me. So I love you. Thanks, guys.